Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm Daniel Hall. Let's take a look at today's stories. California's Attorney General has labeled the Black Lives Matter organization as a tax delinquent. The status is due to its unfiled financials to the IRS. And a Bay Area city started a project to remove crows from roosting in their area. The solution is lasers. One local expert weighs in on the effectiveness and future of the project. California's Attorney General has given Black Lives Matter a delinquent tax status. The Department of Justice says the group failed to file annual reports, including IRS forms for 2020. We hear more from NTD's David Lamb.
California's Department of Justice is going after the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, which is based in Oakland, according to a letter shared by the Washington Examiner. The letter, dated January 31st, says the group is delinquent with the Registry of Charitable Trusts for missing its registration fees and IRS forms for 2020. As of now, they are prohibited from soliciting or dispersing charitable funds. If the issue isn't resolved in less than 60 days, the BLM group would lose its tax-exempt status and be treated as a taxable corporation. The letter states that the leaders are personally liable for late registration fees. BLM reported that it had an ending balance of $60 million in 2020, but it hasn't said who's in control of the funds for the past 8 months, and that it had an incorrect address listed on its 2019 tax forms, the Washington Examiner reported. NTD reached out to both the State Attorney General's office and BLM. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
The California Assembly now has 5 vacant seats. This unusually high number of empty seats comes after members hitting term limits, as well as redistricting and the pandemic. The most recent resignation came from Democratic Assemblywoman Autumn Burke, representing Inglewood. Burke announced the resignation on Monday, effectively leaving her position on Tuesday, February 1st. Burke wrote in a letter to her constituents that she is resigning to spend more time with her family. She added that she hoped to finish her term, but circumstances have recently changed. Burke, along with Assembly members elected after 2021, can serve at most 12 years in either the Senate or Assembly. Other recent resignations include Democratic Assemblyman David Chu. He left his position to become the San Francisco City Attorney. His term would have ended in 2026. Other departures include Democratic Assembly members Jim Frazier, Ed Chow, and Lorena Gonzalez. After Burke's resignation, Democrats control 55 of the 80 seats in the Assembly. 54 votes are required for a 2/3 majority. Special elections to fill the seats are already pending, with a February election for Los Angeles and April for San Diego. California continues to battle with smash-and-grab theft throughout the entire state. But as the saying goes, what goes around comes around. San Francisco police have arrested a suspect believed to be connected to the brazen Union Square retail theft back in November.
San Francisco police said they arrested a woman believed to be connected to the robberies that took place on November 19, 2021, at a number of Union Square luxury shops. Police say they encountered Mal-Janae Williams, an alleged Union Square thief, while responding to a call on Thursday around 4:00 a.m. The call was about an unspecified disturbance on the 1300 block of Mission Street. During their investigation, police found out Williams was on probation and had 3 warrants for her arrest, one of which was for allegedly taking part in the Union Square looting. Police say Williams has been booked into jail on a number of charges, including burglary, vandalism, and possession of a loaded gun. SFPD said in a statement Monday that investigations are ongoing, and they anticipate making additional arrests related to the November looting. Williams is among nearly a dozen people arrested so far in connection with smash-and-grab crimes in Union Square, but several suspects have yet to be caught.
The state's Attorney General will review an investigation conducted by an outspoken Southern California sheriff. The sheriff has been a vocal opponent against forcing mask and vaccine mandates. California Attorney General Rob Bonta will review several investigations carried out by Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villaneuva, according to the Los Angeles Times. The review comes after county officials accused Villaneuva of abusing his power by investigating his critics. In a letter, Los Angeles County Counsel Rodrigo Castro Silva asked Bonta to take over the investigations. Castro Silva said Villanueva's investigations are politically motivated. Castro Silva cited a long-running criminal investigation into Inspector General Max Huntsman. Department officials allege that Huntsman and others improperly downloaded Villanueva's personnel records. Villanueva has been outspoken on topics including mask mandates, homelessness, and defunding the police. He has refused to enforce mask mandates that began last year. He also warned that vaccine mandates would cause serving sheriff deputies to leave the department. Villanueva additionally condemned efforts to defund LA Transit Police last year. In June, he called on the LA Board of Supervisors to declare a local state of emergency to address the spiraling homelessness situation in the county. Villanueva also supports the recall of LA District Attorney George Gascon. A major shipping port in the Bay Area will add a new site to handle extra containers. The move is to alleviate shipping delays and lessen supply chain strains. The U.S. Department of Agriculture announced on Sunday that it will help fund a new container yard at the Port of Oakland. The goal is to tackle ongoing shipping delays. A new 25-acre pop-up site will open at the port to add space for empty containers. Officials say the site will allow containers to be quickly moved off chassis and store them for rapid pickup. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said similar ports in Georgia's Port of Savannah helped improve the flow of goods. The East Coast port is one of the busiest in the nation. The USDA will pay 60% of the startup costs for the Oakland site. The project is expected to cost about $5 million according to USDA estimates. In December 2021, the Port of Oakland announced that containerized loaded import cargo volume hit a record high in 2021. The port handled the equivalent of 1.05 million 20-foot import containers in 2021, which was the most in Oakland's 94-year history. However, officials noted that the supply chain crisis had affected the port's export volume, leading to ships arriving late, canceled trips, and weeks-long delays. During the pandemic, the population of crows boomed in Northern California. The overpopulation resulted in various forms of pollution, from noise to feces. One city is applying a solution from New York City to keep the birds away: lasers.
Crows suddenly bolted out of the sky as they swoop into downtown Sunnyvale, California. They litter city sidewalks, cars, and benches with their feathers and feces. A local environmental professor said the lasers are effective, but open up new questions.
So the idea of using lasers to scare the crows away, or to scare the ravens and crows away, is pretty new. If you're shining lasers at them, what do they experience? And we don't actually know that. We know that it scares them away.
City staff demonstrated the effect on crows roosting in trees.
So I usually just wait until they sit down on the tree, then I can use a laser on them.
Some opponents said that the lasers may cause other unintended side effects, like interfering with airplanes.
As you can see, they're all just kind of flying by, so we're just staying away from any aircrafts or any airplanes that are driving by, especially we got departments right here. So
O'Malley said there are other indirect impacts of moving the crows around.
The problem is that ravens and crows also are predators for other species. They're also predators for songbirds and for less human-oriented species. Is it pushing the ravens to a place that they're even worse? What if we push the ravens out of our very highly impacted areas in the middle of cities and they end up moving to a place where there's an endangered bird that they're eating their eggs?
O'Malley said the best solution is to treat the city like its own ecosystem.
Working with lasers, it might help push back the problem for now, but I don't see it as a long-term solution. We need to manage our cities like ecosystems. That's what they are. We need to have a diversity of different habitats within a city. So in order to bring back the hawks, the peregrines that can take care of the ravens, we need to have a variety of perches and a variety of trees and shrubs and flowering plants for the insects.
Sunnyvale will continue the pilot program for another week in the downtown area between 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. But public restrooms can sometimes be difficult to find for people who rely on public transportation, a fact that many Bay Area BART riders are familiar with. 2 decades later and thousands of dollars flushed into rebuilding the restrooms, a number of restrooms are reopening. We hear more from NTD's Cynthia Kai.
For over 20 years, frequent BART riders know that finding a restroom at certain BART stations can be a struggle. But now here at the Powell BART station in San Francisco, bathrooms are reopening for the first time in 20 years. The two new all-gender restrooms are complete with motion sensor flush and touchless sinks located just outside the bathroom entrance. The design is similar to modern airport restrooms, with no entrance door separating the facility from the station to prevent users from locking themselves in. However, the wide entrance combined with a lack of an entrance door gives the thousands of bypassers a direct line of sight into the stall.
A few years ago, I asked the question of Bart, can't we reopen all the underground restrooms? The answer I got was no, and I didn't give up. Last year, I introduced a Bart board item calling for staff to outline how much money it would take to reopen all the underground restrooms.
Funding for the restrooms came from state infrastructure bonds, a voter-approved Measure RR, and Proposition K.
In order to open the restroom, they had to be completely gutted, and we had to do significant infrastructure work, and the cost to do that for these two restrooms was $900,000. It's part of a much larger station modernization project here at BART at the Powell Street Station, which is a multi-million-dollar project.
The transit agency closed 10 restrooms at its underground stations in 2001, following the September 11 terrorist attacks, citing safety and security guidance from the federal government. One BART rider welcomed the new restrooms.
That's a good thing, you know, because a few times it happens with myself too. When someone comes from a far distance, if they have restroom access, that would be a good idea because they don't have any other option here.
District work employees will staff the restrooms for the first 2 months following the reopening. However, Keith Garcia, head of the BART Police Officers Association, told the East Bay Times that he feels BART leadership overplayed the significance of the bathroom reopening. He also criticized BART for not using union-employed officers to staff the restrooms. Powell Station is one of BART's busiest stations, currently serving over 450,000 riders each month, about 30% of pre-pandemic ridership numbers. The restrooms here at Powell Station are the first to reopen. Later this month, bathrooms at the 19th Street Station in Oakland are also set to reopen, with many more in the coming years. Cynthia Kai, NTD News, California.
A unique salad-eating contest in California brought in some unusual contestants, giant rabbits. But instead of taking home the gold, the lettuce-loving bunnies met with defeat. Let's take a look.
2, 1!
A giant lettuce-loving rabbit named Honey Bunny has met its match. Nicknamed Mega, the oversized critter lost a salad-eating contest to a human woman. Salad franchise Chop Stop organized the competition in Glendale, California.
I remember seeing these ridiculous pictures on the internet of people holding these massive rabbits. I did a little research and I found out there was a local guy who actually breeds those. They're called Flemish Giants rabbits. So I contacted him and it was a match made in heaven.
Honey Bunny, the giant rabbit, virtually froze in front of the lettuce tray, barely eating anything at all. The organizers then allowed the honey team to bring in a backup contestant, Precious. But that rabbit also failed to eat a single leaf. Their keeper said he wasn't surprised at the outcome.
Rabbits are not scarfers. They're not like dogs, just scarf it down quickly. They're nibblers. They nibble all day, all night. So they eat decent amounts, but over a period of time.
The winner, Raina Huang, has been competing in eating contests for 4 years. But the girl says she doesn't eat salad at all outside of competitions.
It was more of like a challenge to myself. When I do contests and challenges, usually I don't really pay attention too much to what competitors do. I think the best for me is just to see the best of what I can do.
To win the competition, Huang managed to put away 3.5 pounds of chopped salad within 10 minutes.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update from the world of sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup.
Trey Lance called fellow San Francisco quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo a friend for life. One day after the 49ers were eliminated from the playoffs in what was likely Garoppolo's final game under center for the team. The 49ers drafted the 21-year-old with the 3rd overall pick of last year's draft, but instead of seeing Lance as a threat, Garoppolo embraced him as the likely replacement. Garoppolo spent 4 seasons as Tom Brady's backup in New England before coming to the 49ers, a team he helped lead to the Super Bowl at the end of the 2019 season. He said he did not know what the future holds after the 49ers fell to the Rams 20-17 in Sunday's NFC Championship game. The Denver Broncos and Pittsburgh Steelers are said to be possible destinations for the 30-year-old signal caller. Cincinnati public schools will be closed the day after the Super Bowl so students can celebrate what officials hope will be the Bengals' first National Football League championship. Cincinnati, who 2 years ago finished with the worst record in the NFL, will play the Los Angeles Rams in the championship game on February 13th. And the city's largest school district has given students the all clear to stay up late. The long-suffering Bengals, who before this year had not won a playoff game since 1991, are one of 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl, but have been revived by the inspired performances of second-year quarterback Joe Burrow. The game is to be held next Sunday at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. 3-time major champion Jordan Spieth said on Tuesday he has not fully recovered from a bacterial infection in his stomach that caused him to lose weight, but still plans to tee it up this week at Pebble Beach. Spieth said he was experiencing symptoms during his second round at the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines on Thursday, where he shot a 78 and missed the cut. He said he was very much not involved in a lot of the holes he played at Torrey Pines. Spieth, a 12-time winner on the PGA Tour, will look to turn things around at Pebble Beach, a course which he has called arguably the most beautiful place in the United States. He has enjoyed lots of success at the course, including a finish tying for 3rd at the tournament last year.
As always, I'm Thomas Christian, and thanks for tuning in.
And that's all we have for you tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, feel free to let us know. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Daniel Hall. Have a wonderful evening.